Do not boast of victory, nor complain about defeat. It is proper for a Junzi to appear modest and generous. Only vulgar persons manifest expressions of anger and rage. A good player should not exhaust his skills. The beginner should not be timorous, but should sit calmly and breathe regularly. In this way, the battle is half won. A player whose face reveals a disturbed state of mind is already losing.
Hello, my friend. Have you heard of the game of Go, the oldest and one of the most popular strategic board games in the world? Did you know that China is the birthplace of this game and ranks second in the 4 arts of the literati? Did you know that the strategy of playing Go is associated with Sun Tzu's art of war? So learning how this game is being related to the Sun Tzu's teaching is of great help to us in the pursuits of success. We believe that a concrete understanding of oneself is a golden key to success. The more accurately you understand your real strengths and weaknesses, the more effective you'll be in every endeavor.
The word Weiqi is made up of 2 Chinese characters, Wei, to surround, and Qi, logic game. The game of Go is played on a board with a 19x19 grid. The pieces used are black and white, lens-shaped discs called stones. It is customary to keep the stones that has not yet been played in wooden bowls next to the board on your right. Although the rules of playing Go is simple, as 2 players alternate placing black and white stones on the board, starting with the black player, it is considered the most complex board game in the world. The origins of Weiqi can be traced back to the time of Emperor Yao and was already popular in the time of Confucius. During the Sui and Tang dynasty, it was introduced to Japan through Korea and then spread to Europe and Americas. Here are 4 basic rules. 1. Moves are played on the intersections. 2nd, the stones are not moved after being played. 3rd, black plays first. 4. Black and white alternate in making their moves.
The object of Weiqi is to take control of territory. At the end of the game, the side which controls more territory wins the game.
That is to say, taking one's opponent's pieces is not enough. One must possess a great area on the board in order to win the game. Weiqi is a metaphor for everything from a Confucian virtue to Taoist strategy. The elite feature of such a game is strongly supported by ideas from the Book of Changes, which is seen as the foundation of both Confucianist and Taoist thoughts. It includes the principle of changes and the capacity of tackling issues from the perspective of development.
In this way, the law of unity of opposites can be used to tackle the problem, and the simple and mechanical use of strategic guidance can be avoided. Unlike chess, in which territory and battlegrounds are defined at the beginning of the game, Weiqi creates and destroys territories as the game processes. So it faces a variety of possibilities.
On average, a chess player is placed with 25 to 35 possible moves as opposed to 200 and 250 in Weiqi. but due to its constant changes and more abstract strategy, Weiqi became the most challenging but refined game, enjoying a unique cultural identity among the upper class. For example, Weiqi was very popular in the Three Kingdoms period. It can be said that many monarchs of the Three Kingdoms were also very proficient in Weiqi. It is recorded that there were many Weiqi masters in the late Eastern Han Dynasty, including Wang Jiuzhen and Guo Kai. Cao Cao, as a king and also a management genius, his skill was equal to theirs.
It is believed that a wise leader should have a good mastery of playing Go.
The same is true with the founder of the People's Republic of China, Mao Zedong. In the article titled Problem of a Strategy in Guerrilla Warfare Against Japan, published in 1938, Mao Zedong wrote, "Thus, there are two forms of encirclement by the enemy forces and two forms of encirclement by our own, rather like a game of Weiqi. Campaigns and battles fought by the two sides resemble the capturing of each other's pieces and the establishment of the strongholds by the enemy and of guerrilla base areas by our forces resemble moves to dominate spaces on the board. It is a matter of dominating the spaces that the great strategic role of guerrilla base areas located at the rear of the enemy is revealed."
His remark unveils the essence of playing Go.
It is exactly as Sun Tzu remarked. Therefore, the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captured their cities without laying siege to them. He overthrown their kingdom without lengthy operations in the field. This is the method of attacking by stratagem.
Now, you may get a little clue about the connection of the strategy of playing Go and Sun Tzu's art of war. The fact is that some of the strategies can enrich our capacities of thinking ahead, examining the situation, and eventually solving problems. Even today, such logic thinking and tactics can be very helpful towards success. Now, let's go close to the most renowned military classic in China, The Art of War.
This book has been vastly influential in the East since the Warring States period. Its significance was quickly recognized with its first translation into European language in 1782, and even such towering speakers of the Western history as Napoleon and General Douglas MacArthur have claimed it as a source of inspiration. The art of war then is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions when in the field. These are the way, heaven, earth, the commander, method and discipline. Here the way has no equivalent word in English, and the common translation is the moral law and moral inference. It means to establish a moral principle so that both of the people and the government can share a common conviction. In other words, the people should be in complete accordance with the government before they're willing to sacrifice themselves for the sake of the country. Heaven refers to night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons, so keep alert on the variation in the weather or the climate, as well as the handling of time. Earth refers to the distance to travel, the physical terrain, whether it is dangerous or safe. Rule number 4 is to ensure that the leader possesses virtues like wisdom, trustworthiness, benevolence, courage, and sternness. The last rule is to organize the troops well, to establish the disciplinary measures of reward and punishment, and to provide the necessary supplies to the army.
In short, these 5 rules should be familiar to every general. He who knows them will win. He who does not know them will fail.
If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will also suffer a defeat. If you know neither enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. So know the enemy and know yourself, and you can fight 100 battles with no danger of defeat. If you ignore both your enemy and yourself, you are sure to be defeated in every battle. As suggested in the book entitled Sun Tzu for Success, each of us is perceived as 3 different people: who we think we are, who others think we are, and who we really are. The most important of these is who we really are. This search for identity can be the quest of a time life. The more you know about yourself and reasons for your own preferences and actions, the more you know about others. Self-knowledge breeds a universe of knowledge about the dynamics of human nature. It also reminds me of the remark of Lao Tzu. He says, "To understand others is to be wise, but to understand oneself is to be enlightened. One who overcomes others is strong, but he who overcomes himself is mighty." The objective of this lecture is not about the techniques of playing Go, but rather about Taoist ideology and the aspect of self-cultivation in Confucius' teachings. Hope you enjoyed it.